Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Welcome to Mike's Daily Podcast. I'm Mike Matthews. We're here at Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
The last place on earth. It's episode 2728. 27, 28. Ain't that great? My gosh, sometimes fate is strange, and it makes things really odd when you're singing about it in an abstract sort of way. I guess I can put an end to that particular song.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Well, how about this? Nearly 3 in 10 Americans struggle
Mike's
to pay
Daily
for the drugs
Podcast.
that they need.
Yeah!
U.S. patients spend about $1,200 more per person on prescription medication than those in any other nation. You're like, dang, I didn't know I was paying more than $1,200 more than anybody else in any other nation. The Biden administration unveiled the framework to seize the patents the costly medication from drug makers in a new push to slash high drug prices. CVS is revamping how it pays pharmacists to fill prescriptions. Their new cost vantage model will kick off in 2025. That ensures pharmacies get paid the original drug price plus a small fixed markup and service fee. Blue Shield of California is expecting to see about $500 million in yearly drug cost savings after switching to Amazon Pharmacy. And the cost plus drugs that Mark Cuban started. Drug makers such as Pfizer, Eli Lilly, and Johnson & Johnson have large lobbying teams that are fighting this. However, I have a coworker who went to Walgreens for the...
And here's today's podcast picture.
The podcast picture is not of Walgreens, though. You're welcome. It's of a thing that happened recently that you can see at MikesDailyPodcast.com. But he was saying, it was the worst experience ever at Walgreens. He was waiting. Nobody was taking his, nobody was directing him where he needed to go. And he was wasting all this time. So it is, we'll see what happens with that. And did you know as well that women's sports had a banner year in 2023? The late great Basil the Boxer, he was in the podcast picture yesterday, which you can see at MikesDailyPodcast.com. But women's sports, I don't know if Basil and I ever watched women's sports, but they had a banner year. Ticket sales, viewership, and team valuations for women's sports boomed to record growth. Demand for women's basketball Final Four tickets was higher than it was for men's basketball Final Four seats. And this happened for the very first time here in 2024. The Nebraska Cornhuskers women's volleyball team set the world record for women's sports attendance. It had 92,000 fans.
It's Bison Bentley's. Do you know that?
Hey, this is Bison Bentley, and Mike Matthews has a couple of stories that'll make you want to ask yourself, do you know that? The WNBA also scored big in 2023 as viewership jumped 21%. The league's most watched season in 21 years. Jumped from last year 21%. Just bam, like that. Ticket sales more than doubled from the prior year. And in soccer, the National Women's Soccer League broke records in attendance, viewership, and team valuations. Finally, sales for women. And wasn't this the year that we got women's soccer team? I guess nationally, around the world, they call it football. But yeah, we got one here in the Bay Area. Finally, sales for women's tennis jumped not 20%, or 21% like the WNBA, but jumped 30%. Wow. And Taylor Swift's on the NFL season sales for Chiefs home games more than tripled on StubHub because of who she is dating. And the no news on the female-led tickets would be complete without mentioning Barbie. That earned $1.5 billion this year. All those amazing statistics come from Rob Black. I produce his podcast, The Rob Black Show. You can get the live broadcast of that on AM 1220 KDOW weekday mornings in the 8 o'clock hour. And in the 9 o'clock hour, he is on the television station KRON.
Mike Matthews? You not know Mike Matthews.
Uh-huh.
Really?
Eminem. We got Eminem.
Ooh, I'm going to post a picture. The Gourmet Ghetto is what they call it. North Berkeley's Gourmet Ghetto is much more than a food lover's dream. It's an important part of the Bay Area's culinary history from its humble, caffeinated beginnings in 1966 when Dutch-born Alfred Peet opened Peet's Coffee. See, it's his last name. That's why it's not like a guy's name, Pete.
That's enough. Put down the mic.
On the corner of Walnut and Vine, that's where I was. I'll post a picture from that area at MikesDailyPodcast.com. But it has grown up into a global reputation of culinary highlights, and BayArea.com is where I got that from. Okay. Fascinating. And then also, let's see, Google shares. Well, they dropped today because they lost some big lawsuit today. I don't quite understand everything involved with it. But not too long ago, at the beginning of the month, they were doing well after they announced the Gemini AI model. Gemini outperforms OpenAI's GPT. Yes, like ChatGPT.
You ready?
3.5, but the company did not share how it compares with OpenAI's latest model, GPT-4. They got all these new versions happening. As we go outside a Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast, somewhere in Podcastro Mont, the last place on Earth.
Anyway.
Gas prices have fallen or remained steady since September.
Try to game me, no.
Making about a 70-day trajectory of decline. Average gas prices stood just below $3.25. That is average for the United States. Whereas here in the Bay Area, if you can find $4.04, that's good. I was at Costco checking out the brand new Costco that I was talking about in the East Bay. Its gas station was selling gas at the lowest for $4.09. So if we can get it anywhere around there or lower, under $4, you are doing really well in the Bay Area. But around the country, it's $3.25. Big winner from lower gas prices is every driver saving all that money. And you know who else? Amazon.com.
Oh, my.
Because they're trying to get that thing you just bought. That book. That dress. Those shoes. I got to get them shoes. When are the shoes going to get to me?
God, man.
Here in California, gas prices. We always complain. And you really have to look for the gas stations that have anything that's I guess you can get it. Let's see, if it's average $3.25, that means we're still at the cheapest, within $1 of the average. But here in California, the metro region's ranked as the least affordable areas to live, while Midwest metros were the most affordable. 2023 was the least affordable home buying year in at least 11 years.
Wow, that's wild. Files.
I can't believe. What the hell is this place anyway?
Online pet products retailer Chewy, it has not been doing well. Their stock slumped more than 11% following a weak forecast.
Anarchy! I don't even know what that means, but I love it.
Net sales.
Good morning, Mr. Matthews.
The Pam Baumgartner Files.
That there is a place, and I once did a wedding at this place. It's called Hillmar Cheese Company. And it's out in the Central Valley. It's just south of Turlock. And I remember I was married then, and my then wife, it was friends of hers. They said, hey, Mike, you're friends of ours. Would you like to be the DJ at the reception? And I go, okay, all right. Oh, they ended up, I think they paid me something. But I'm like, okay, whatever. You guys are friends anyway. Let's just do it. So I went to Hillmar Cheese Company. I got there a little early. And they have all these samples. So I enjoyed that. And really beautiful facility. We were upstairs in the party area where they have parties and conventions and whatnot. But they said, hey, would you like to try some cheese curds? And I did. They weren't fried, though. But, oh, so delicious. And then I did the reception. I had brought my laptop, brought some amp, a couple of speakers that were too small. Somebody had to lend me. They happened to have a speaker in their car that was like a huge speaker. A speaker. Am I German all of a sudden? I guess I am not German all of a sudden. I already had some German in me, but I guess they had come back from a gig. They were like a saxophone player, and they said, oh, I just happen to have the speaker in my car. It was one of these speakers that it wasn't huge, but it was loud enough to fill the room. The ones I brought just didn't cut the mustard.
MikesDailyPodcast.
Now that's legit.
Sorry. I go back to the Costco story. And Costco shares did well today, something to do with Costco. But yesterday I was at this brand new Costco in the Bay Area, and I had to get their hot dog because they sell them so cheap. I don't think they've raised prices in decades. Same with their chicken.
Brewmaster.
The rotisserie chicken in the back. Oh, they've gotten into business with Elon Musk. And they have changed the chocolate churro. Is that they changed one of their desserts apparently? Oh, huh. And I guess something here about Costco health insurance. No. Oh, I guess it continues to rally ahead of earnings. I see. They're doing well with their stock. Yeah. So, but of course, I had to have the mustard. This new Costco, however, because Costco's used to offer sauerkraut with your hot dogs. Another German reference there. And they haven't since COVID happened. But now they offer onions at this particular place. So I had some onions. Yes, Mike went the whole crazy, what are you doing to your intestines, Mike, route. But back to cheese. But we're always talking about cheese. No, Hillmar Cheese Company. So yes, I did a reception there. It was a lot of fun. Nice people working there. Well, apparently there's a lot more going on behind the scenes. There's a disability discrimination and unlawful termination lawsuit that was filed against them. It has been amended after discovery identified that since at least 2007, Hillmar had subjected many of its employees to illegal employment practices. The lawsuit alleges that Hillmar has instituted an unlawful policy that discriminates against employees with disabilities. The lawsuit was filed by personal injury and employment law firms back in November of last year on behalf of former Hillmar employee Victor Cruz. And that story was sent to me from somebody at burbay.com. I don't know if that's part of the people that are doing the lawsuit.
Note to self.
I don't know what's going on behind the scenes there. That's the latest story with that. We'll see how that shakes out. But I'll tell you, if you ever get a chance to go there, it's a pretty neat place. If you like cheese. And I hear they do tours. Ooh, and they got little waterfalls outside. Oh, and after the reception, there were little bats flying around because you're out in the farm fields. You're kind of far. Yeah, you have to come down 99 and then you head west of 99 and out there in the farm fields is where it is. So you get some beautiful views and there were bats flying around and it was a pretty nice place to have a reception. But we'll see. I don't know what's going on there at Hilmar Cheese Factory, but some kind of lawsuit having to do with wrongful termination in this wonderful land known as California, where that ain't allowed. We got lots of rights as a worker here in California, unlike other places in the country. I know that from experience. Hey, outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth, look who is here. Hi, Mark. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How y'all doing?
It's a disgruntled fiddle player. Tell you what.
What?
I could sure forgo something right now.
What?
I said I could sure go for some cheese right now.
Oh, not a chocolate churro?
No, I want cheese. That's what I said. I want cheese. Tell you what.
What?
Where's the cheese?
That's a good question. I don't think that's what Clara Pillar asked, but that is a good question. Look who else is here.
Hello, Mike. I make delicious root beer. Have some right now. Oh, boy.
Wow, I can't wait to have some of this. Yummy.
Toda.
Oh, wow. That's an interesting, funky taste. What's in that?
Cheese.
Oh. We've gotten off on a weird theme here at Café Anyway. Somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. Well, if you'd like to chime in about anything we covered today, here's the number to call.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
And with more ways to reach me, it is a frame.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com.
Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!